Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Iram Sayyed from the Physiology Department of FUMC. I will be doing the examination of sensory system with you people. The goal to examine this system is to determine any damage which has happened to this system. By the end of this session, you will be able to examine the tactile sensibility in a subject, including the touch, the discrimination, and the localization of the touch sensation. Secondly, you will be able to examine the pain and temperature sensation. Number 3, you should be able to examine the position and vibration sensation. And number 4, you should be able to examine stereognosis. Stereognosis is a sense in which, with the eyes closed, you can perceive and recognize an object only by touching it. And finally, the last learning objective is the interpretation of all these senses which we have examined. Different terms are used for the interpretation of the examination of the sensory system. Number 1 is anesthesia, which means absent tactile sensation. Hypoesthesia, meaning a decreased tactile sensation, and hyperesthesia is increased tactile sensation. Analgesia means no pain sensation. Hypoalgesia means decreased pain sensation, and hyperalgesia means increased pain sensation. In addition to that, there is astereognosis. This is loss of stereognosis. And then there is paraesthesia, which is the sensation of touch in the absence of stimulus. In this, the patient can experience pins and needles, the insect crawling, the burning sensation. The requirements for this experiment are as follows. We need a subject, a couch where the patient or the subject should be lying down, cotton wool, steel pins, compass, 2 test tubes with warm and cold water, keys, pen to check the stereognosis, and Turing fork with a frequency of 128 Hz. The procedure is that you approach the patient from the right side, greet the patient, introduce yourself, explain the procedure to the patient, and take consent. Then direct the patient to keep the eyes closed throughout the procedure. And finally, you have to check the patient's orientation in time and space. You have to ask the name of the patient, ask him what date it is, what day is it, what is the time, where are you at the moment, and what is your home address. In this way, we will know if the patient is well oriented in time and space. Now I will discuss with you the examination of the tactile sensation or the touch sensation. The whole experiment will be conducted while the eyes are closed. The subject's eyes are closed. First we examine the light touch. For the light touch, we touch the corresponding points in the body, on the body of the subject. These points should be examined at both the sides, that is, they should be examined bilaterally. You have to take a wisp of cotton and touch the patient or the subject on the corresponding points bilaterally and ask the subject what the patient or the subject feels. The pressure is checked. Again, the corresponding points are touched bilaterally. This is done with the help of a blunt object like the finger or the pen, and again the patient feedback is taken. Thirdly, tactile localization is done. We have to touch the different points in the body of the patient and the patient has to be asked what points were being touched. Where did the patient feel the touch sensation? And then we do the 2-point discrimination, in which the prongs of the campus are opened and they are applied to the fingertips, arms, and the back. If the patient cannot perceive 2 points separately, the prongs of the compass or the divider which we used have to be further opened until the patient starts feeling both the points separately. Again, we have to constantly take the patient feedback. Next is the examination of the pain sensation. Pain sensation can be done in 2 portions, the superficial pain and the deep pain. In the superficial pain, the patient's eyes again should be closed. Steel pins are used. You have to touch the patient with the steel pins. You don't have to puncture the patient. And then you ask the patient where he is feeling the sharp superficial pain. In the deep pain, again, the eyes will remain closed. We have to pinch and or squeeze the bellies of the muscles like biceps and the calf muscles. The Achilles tendon is also pinched between the thumb and the index finger, and we have to ask the patient if the patient feels the pain due to this touching and pinching and squeezing. Next, we come to the examination of the temperature sensation. 2 test tubes are taken. In one is the cold water and in the other one is the warm water. We have to touch the different parts on the body of the subject, but first with the cold sensation and later with the warm test tube. Throughout this, we have to keep on asking the patient if he is feeling warm or if he is feeling the cold. Next, we examine the patient for the sense of vibration. As I've already told you, the eyes should be constantly closed. A tuning fork is used, which is of 128 Hertz. Vibrate the tuning fork and apply it to the dorsum of the foot, or the lateral malleolus, or the dorsum of the hand. Constantly ask the patient if the patient is feeling the vibration or not. Next, we discuss the examination of the sense of position and passive movements. Again, the eyes should be closed. We have to flex and extend the subject's fingers. Stop at one point, and at that point ask the patient where the fingers are. Are they flexed or are they extended? Repeat the same with the big toe of the foot. Move it constantly and then stop. Ask the patient if it is flexed or it is extended. Next, we examine in the sensory system the stereognosis. Keep the patient's eyes closed. Hand over the objects of common use to the patient, like key, a pen, or a mobile phone, and ask the patient to feel only with the fingers with the eyes closed and name the object.